So
Yeah.
why wouldn't you just help her get her fucking degree, get her bachelor's or whatever the case may be, and then be a fucking engineer or some shit like that, right? So go to school. Go to school 3 or 4 or 5 years, make your money. I mean, get your degree and then go to college. I mean, and then go get a job and go make 80 grand a year. And then I'll stay home.
That ain't enough. So like I said, if I had the option to stay home and watch the kids, I would. That's the easiest, and I know that I'm secure, and I know she ain't gonna leave me. Oh, I would love.
You know what I think about men when they say that they would love to stay home. The reason why a lot of men would be open to staying home is because they would do a shitty job. So the way you think about the job, you think about it like I don't have to do anything, right? So that tells me that if you were home, you wouldn't do anything. You would neglect your kids. So you would be doing a shitty job. Like you would never, like, here's the caveat I would say to any man that's talking about, I would rather stay home, let my woman go to work. Here's the caveat.
Wait.
You must do the same. You must do this. The caliber of work that your wife or your girl was doing at home, you must also match that same energy. You just staying at home with the kids. Okay, I can see you just staying at home with the kids, playing PS5 all day, talking on the phone all day, being on TikTok, ignoring your kids. I can see that. I can see y'all doing that. Honestly, I can. So it would be easy for you. But it's not easy for the women because the women actually take the job seriously. They honestly pour into the kids.
So you saying that the woman locked in the whole time, she don't got no time to decompress as soon as the whole period of time where she neglects herself. That doesn't make sense at all.
My wife, talk to my wife because she couldn't.
Sound like she neglected herself then.
Yeah, maybe she did, but because she had 2 fucking kids. That's what happened. So guess what? So I had to have these tough conversations with my wife.
Can I say something to you?
I used to think like you, Lucky. Because I used to think like that. I used to have that same trap. I used to be in that same hellish misogynistic trap that a woman's, taking care of kids, what women's supposed to do. So I was stuck, right? And so what happened was after a few months of neglecting my wife, right? Just like, oh yeah, because you go to work, you come home, you I go to work. I work my 8 hours. I work my 9, 10 hours for the day. I'm gonna come home and do whatever the fuck I want to do, right? Kick off my shoes, relax my feet, party on down to the SKB. I would come home and do my shit, and then my wife was like, she would, hey, can you want to talk to me? And I'm just really talked out right now, and I've been talking all day at work, and I just need a break. And she'd be like, okay, but just get back to me when you get ready. Okay, cool. So it was like a couple, 2, 3 weeks, a month or 2 of that. And then it started to be like, hey, I need you to talk to me. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And, but give me a minute and 2 months of that. Then eventually my wife got to the point to where she was like, hey, look, bro, you get to go to work. You get to go to work. You get to see other people, see other adults, converse with other people. You get to go to work. You get to decompress. Because that is decompressing from home life, right? So you get to decompress, right? She was like, when you come home, I need you to talk to me. I need for you to step up more with the kids. And I was like, bet, I hear you. And I've told this story, but my wife literally like broke it down like hours in the day. She was like, we sleep for 8, we got 16 awake. You go to sleep for 10, you got 6 in the house, you got to get ready. So we got 5, you know what I'm saying? You got to get ready for work and go to work. So that's 5 hours. So you got 5 hours a day, right? When y'all are together, and you want to spend 3 of them watching football, watching basketball, or playing video games, or just watching TV. So I only get 2 hours of time with you. And then you don't want to help out with the kids as much because you think that this job is easy. You think this is my job. Like you went to work for 8 hours, but the man gets to clock out. When he clocks out, wasn't nobody calling me, wasn't nobody sending me emails like, hey brother, can you do this and send this over the bill? No, once I was done with work, I was done with work. But my wife never got a break. She never gets a reprieve. That's the thing. So they're on call, and my wife would be sleeping, literally in the bed, sleeping with a small baby on her boob. She couldn't even sleep in peace. So I couldn't imagine what the days were like. The days were hellish. They were hellish. She had a toddler and a fucking newborn. That was crazy. And any man that can tell me with a straight face that job is easy does not know what that job actually entails and tells me everything I need to know about you, you would suck at that job. You would be terrible. You would neglect the hell out of your kids, without a doubt. You think it's easy, then you would neglect your kids. No doubt about it. I don't care what you say. You can't convince me otherwise right now. Go ahead.
Okay, so you say your wife. So since she's tending to her kids, she's always on their time. She's neglecting herself. That's a given. And once she neglects herself for a period of time, then she finds that something needs to change. Something needs to go. And the kids ain't going nowhere. So guess what she's choosing? The next person up. You gone, my boy. And that's just how the process works. It's a lot of situations that happen like that. They take so much pride into and never take time for themselves in those situations and relationships that they feel like something has to change. And it's going to be...
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is after the neglect for a long period of time, they end up replacing you. You the problem.
Yeah, I was the problem. But guess what? I listened because I'm not a dumbass. So and lying about it wouldn't have helped. So I listened to my wife. Thank God I listened to my wife. Thank God. And by the way, that doesn't mean that I fucking was perfect and I perfected everything. We definitely had still many and plenty of discussions and debates, but I heard what she was saying. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. We still have those discussions. Even right now, even my oldest son about to be 12 and my youngest son is 8 right now. We're still having these discussions, but it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? It's better, but it ain't where it needs to be. Right? So yeah, that's the thing. But I'm listening to my wife. I'm not about to sit here and gaslight her and tell her that she's the problem or tighten up, lady, this job is easy or some stupid shit like that. I'm gonna fucking listen to my wife because we're in a partnership. And I know she ain't trying to manipulate me. She's not trying to gaslight me. She just needs help. So guess what? Like you said, who's the next person up? Me. But here's the thing. She shouldn't need to tell me that. I don't think men understand that. She shouldn't need to tell me, oh, I need you to pour into me. I need for you to support. I need. She shouldn't have to tell me that shit. I should just do it. I should just already be paying attention and being attentive. Because that's more labor. You're asking her to do even more labor. Because now she has to tell you what to do, which is more labor. She already got to do everything for the kids, but now she also got to tell you what to do. More labor on top of labor on top of labor. And here you come talking about, that job is easy. Anybody can do it. Yeah, fucking right. You would be trash at it. And you wouldn't do the emotional labor in your relationship either. And I guarantee you that when your wife came home, she would also help you without you asking her. So yeah, it would be easier for you. Yes, it would be easier for most men. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's harp on the topic as well. You said that men aren't really. No, this is what you said. You said that men aren't. It's what your argument was seeming like you're saying that men aren't the providers. Is that your argument? They're not?
It's not even an argument. They're statistically, men aren't the providers. Statistically.
Okay, so what comes with a man? What comes with being a provider? Is that all?
We already laid it out, Lucky. Remember, you have to make the vast majority. Let's say this. Let's
No. I'm not saying financial wise. I'm talking about mentally.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. So I think to me that's more of a vague concept. Right? Like I said, I like when men use it the majority of the time because men mean financial provision. And to me, that's the provision that I want to talk about. Everything else is like a gray area. Like, what are you talking about? I provide stability. How? Now we got to have a whole discussion about how you provide stability. I provide emotional support. What does that mean? What does emotional support mean? What does it actually look like to you? Right? I wouldn't call that provision. Right? I'm talking about money. When people say provisions, they mean material things 99% of the time. So I want to stick to that one. I don't know about, whatever, like what men, and even if you want to have it from that standpoint, most men are damn sure not the providers in their relationship. Most men, when it comes to anything, our only chance is financial provision to be providers. The only leg we can kind of stand on, maybe there's a chance, is financially. But emotionally, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We are not. The men are not the emotional providers in the relationship. We are not. Women are the emotional providers. I don't care. Y'all can try to sell that shit to somebody else. Go to somebody else's porch. Women they do the vast majority of labor in the relationship. Does your wife not do the vast majority of emotional labor in your relationship?
One second.
Yeah, go ahead. Yappington, are you there, bro? We've been waiting for you. I don't know if you could.
Yeah, yeah, my fault. I was watching my nephew. He doing too much right now.
Yeah, I know how that go. Speaking to kids.
Yeah, but like, I don't believe that that raising children is easier. Like, I do agree with the fact that it is the most important job in our society. Children are our most valuable resources, and I will respect everything that women do in regards to that. What I'm not understanding is how we don't consider that women get the majority of the credit. Even when men do their fair share, women still get the majority of the credit. But when something goes bad, men get the majority of the blame. And
When do
I'm
women
not
get the majority
seeing.
of the credit, Yappington? How? In what way?
So you're telling me that we as a society don't say that women are ultimately responsible for children,
It's not that we say that. They are.
right? And so, like, when we start looking at things like for
That's not
example,
wait, hold on. But that's not them getting the credit though. That's an acknowledgement that they are. Getting the credit would be, oh, they're doing a great job. Instead, they get demonized, do they not? Especially single mothers.
right, because look at the outcomes of the children. Like,
Hold
we're
on,
not
wait,
about
wait,
to
wait.
sit here. No, hold on. We're not about to
Wait,
sit
how
here.
does that make sense though?
No. Hold on. We're not about to sit here and pretend like the outcomes of our children aren't getting progressively worse. If women going to say, "Oh, well, we're doing all this work," clearly you're not. If the outcomes of these children are not great.
No, I disagree. The children are doing way better than they were in my generation. Right?
Objectively or not. Like, these kids are in high school reading at a third grade level. That's
Oh
not
yeah, you talk.
objectively better.
Well,
That
I don't know
happened.
about in
That
high school
happened when
so
we were
much.
in high school too.
What'd you say, Kay?
I said that happened when we were in high school too. There's always
Yeah,
kids.
it sure did.
That
And
I don't know what
wait.
I don't know
And
what
also,
schools.
wait, hold on. Also, we just went through a pandemic and the kids got set back 3 or 4. I mean, we don't even know. It's almost irreparable at this point. Like the damage that happened is crazy to the kids, right? I got lucky, right? Me and my kids got lucky. My youngest son was in like TK or some shit like that, so he didn't even need to be in school. And then my oldest son has autism, and so he doesn't even have like a goal or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's in school though, right? He has goals, but he's not. It's different. It ain't like he gonna graduate and get a diploma and all that shit.
You gotta find his niche, dude. You find his niche, and all of a sudden he's gonna be a savant.
No, that's not. He's not. Y'all don't understand
point-
autism.
Sorry, I was just being
The point- the
hopeful.
point-
This ain't my son ain't Rain Man, bro. That's not. I know what you're saying though. I appreciate that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We
he's
can
not.
try.
That's not what it is. Yeah, he's a different level of autism. It's a spectrum. So he's higher on the spectrum of autism, or low, you want to say lower, whatever you want to say. But yeah, so I got lucky personally. But my wife was in education, and I've been reading about it. And a lot of kids, they were stunted by that. Right? They were stunted by that time off. It was really hard for a lot of children. So yeah, I mean, blaming mothers for the outcomes of kids is wild, because if women are that bad at taking care of kids, why don't men step up and help the women more?
Well, because it's just easier for women to control kids. Like, that's just how society is set up.
No,
Like,
it's not.
what I'm not understanding is, like, when we look at the statistics, children that come from single father households do better than children that come from single mother households. So it does seem like men do a better job of raising children.
I just
No, I
said
don't
this
know-
too,
I don't know
Jefferson.
if
I just
that's
said this.
true,
I was like, we are not no sole power of the children. The woman has a sole power, her body, her choice. If she wanted to have kids, she'd go to the sperm donor bank and have a kid. Just know you were just an option. So
That's not
they
true.
they get to decide what happens with those kids. We just contributors.
That's not true.
Right. It's
No,
their
that's
body,
not.
their choice.
Wait. You're talking about birthing the kids. You're right. Her body. That's all that her body, her choice means, is birthing the kids. After the kids are here, you have rights. No doubt about it. So you're just making stuff up, Lucky. But let me read this this Cash App in the super chat. Appreciate the Cash App. They said 50% of the country reads at a 6th grade level. So that would include
Wait, is that for real?
yeah. The majority of the country reads in 6th grade, or half the country. We can't read.
damn
Man.
it.
People are illiterate, and every day
That's insane to me.
coming on this live, you will see that. You will see how illiterate people are. But give me 1 second. Brooke said, "Lucky is watching, quote
You made me
unquote.
feel so smart right
Hold
there.
on, Kay, please don't interrupt me when I'm reading super chats.
Sorry, my bad.
Brooke says Lucky is watching his kids right now. By the way, I think that was funny. So yeah, to your point, Yappington. So you're saying that single father homes fare better than single mother homes. Do you know why that is? Can you give any context to that? Because you like to say stats without any context. So can we get into the nuance of it, or do you just want to cite it like that?
No.
A standalone.
From what I see, single fathers tend to make more money, and so
There you go.
and there does seem to be a correlation between poverty and the outcomes of children, and really
Done.
the outcomes of people in general.
Done.
So I'm not really don't misunderstand.
I know.
I'm not throwing women under the bus. It's I'm not.
What I want to say is that the crazy part is you already had that information before you said that, before you made that statement. So you know that it's not like, but for some reason, single fathers seem to, no, we know what it is. It's money. It has nothing to do with the moms. It's not, as the moms are doing a phenomenal job considering the conditions they're in. That's how you're looking at it wrong.
But they're
right?
they're not doing a phenomenal job, because if men can go out and make more money, there is literally nothing stopping women from going out and making more money too. It seems like women just aren't willing to put in the work that men are. That's what it seems like to me. And hold on,
women are more educated than men in this country on average.
What use is that for the children?
I'm gonna keep going. And also, you said, I don't know why women wouldn't go out and do the work. Because they got the kids. 85% of custodial parents are women. That's why. So you just can't assume, they should just
no. Hold on. We're talking.
The reason why
hold on.
The reason why this is so funny to me is because men abandon the kids and still don't do anything with their lives. It's not like these men abandon the children and then go off and become
That's not what we're talking about.
That is what we're talking about.
No, I said single father homes versus single mother homes. We're talking about it.
Y'all really don't be understanding. So what I'm saying is that single mothers men, when they abandon their kids, right? Because you just tried to make the point, like, why don't these women just choose not to do better, which everybody knows is fucking bullshit, right? Because women are the ones who actually do better. Like, if you leave women to their own devices, they will do the work on their own without any external validation. Like, they don't need external validation whatsoever. They will get up, they will bathe themselves, they will get dressed, they will go find gainful employment, they will go to school, they will be decent people behind the scenes. They won't, you know what I'm saying? Like, women will do that shit without anybody looking. The only time men do that shit is when they are in pursuit of vagina, or in pursuit of status so they can get vagina, or in pursuit of money so they can get status so they can get vagina. That's really it. Or if they're in a relationship with a woman and they want to keep the vagina there, then they'll change. That's it. Men don't be doing the work on their own. Men don't want to go to school to actually be educated. You're a fucking you're an anti-intellectual right now. So
you saying that education?
Hold on. Let me say something real quick, because you completely recontextualized what I said. I said in the context of single father homes versus single mother homes, and then you started going off about how men are abandoning children. That's not relevant to the context that I brought up. It is intellectually. It is not. If we're talking about single father homes versus single mother homes,
single mother homes means what, sir? Does that mean these women
homes without a father?
I'll ask you again a different way. In a single mother home, do those women not get child support and things of that nature? Are they supposed to? I'm saying, is child support excluded from the scenario?
No.
Okay, so that's why abandoning the children matters. Like, what are you talking about? Right. That matters.
And the same thing applies in single father households. Women are abandoning the children, right?
That's not true. That's not true.
In single father households, come on, that's what we are talking about. Listen, I understand they're not the same. I understand the total numbers are not the same. Okay, what we're talking about. Oh my God. What are you talking about, bro?
I'm saying
when a father is a single dad, the mother still contributes.
I'm not even saying she pays child
Says
support.
who?
She
Says
still,
who?
says the numbers. Go look at the percentage of women that go look up the percentage of women that completely abandon their kids. Go look up the percentage of women that only see their kids twice a month, once a month. Go look it up. Since you know all the fucking numbers. Go look it up.
We're not doing this. I'm saying we are comparing single father households to single mother households.
Single mother households
The outcome. We can't have a conversation if
bro.
interrupting me. We can't have a conversation.
I'm going to interrupt you. I don't know.
Then there's no.
Okay. Here's how it works. Single mother households and single father households does not mean the other partner doesn't contribute at all. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So when you talk about single fathers who only make up 15% of all custodial parents, you go look up the number of women that completely abandon their kids. Go look that shit up. Go look up. And by the way,
it's crazy because I was raised by a single father, and this is absolutely insane. My mother abandoned us. Like, okay, you're trying to deny people's lived experiences.
Your anecdotal experience represents the numbers, or does the numbers matter?
So are we? Hold on. Are we relying on the data or not?
That's what I'm saying. Let's rely on the data. Go look up the percentage of women who completely abandon their children. Go look it up. Before you have this conversation, don't fucking come in here talking about, single fathers as if the mothers aren't still involved, when on the flip side, the fathers are not involved. Like 20% of men, this after marriage, not after just having a child, right? All right, we say at a wedlock. 20% of men abandon their kids after a divorce. 20%. I'm sorry, over 20%, but let's just round it to 20%. Another about 22, 23% see their kids once every month. Another 22, 23% see their kids twice a month. What the fuck are you talking about? The majority of men don't pay child support. The majority of men don't contribute financially. What are you talking? Like, this is what I'm saying. So you want to make that same, everything has to be a one-to-one for your argument to make sense. That's why I was trying to say, don't just say stuff. You always just give numbers without context. Numbers without context mean nothing. Give the context to it. Women are still showing up for their kids, even if the father is taking care of them more than men are. So yeah, that actually contributes to the number. Also, though the men are more likely to remarry. Men are more likely to remarry. Women are less likely to remarry. Men are also more likely to have a stronger support group, an extended family support group. So like sisters, aunts, cousins, grandmothers. All these things are contributing to the better outcomes of the children for men. On top of all of that, finances, which that's the biggest contributor. The majority of people who are in poverty are single mothers. Why the fuck do you think that is? Because they're lazy? What the fuck are you talking about?
See, you're completely contradicting yourself because
I bet you I'm not.
Remember the conversation. Hold on. Remember the conversation we had yesterday about homicide, and we were talking about rates of homicide, and you said that it didn't really matter that men were victims of homicide significantly more than women. Now you're saying the exact opposite of that. You're being contradictory.
It's not what I said.
Oh my God.
It's not what I said.
What'd you say then?
I was talking about women. You were saying that the number of women, it doesn't matter because it's low to you.
I didn't say it didn't matter.
You did.
I did not say
that
it
was
didn't.
the whole
No,
argument.
I did not.
You were saying it was low.
The argument.
It's not a femicide. That's what you were saying. You were like,
that's what I said. I said there's not an epidemic of femicide because it doesn't make sense. Hold on. Can I fucking finish a sentence?
No, Yappington. You can't.
What? So you're not actually interested in a conversation. You want to preach.
I'm not interested in you trying to gaslight me.
You want to preach.
No, I'm not interested in you trying to gaslight me.
No, I said that there is not an epidemic of femicide because women make up 50% of the population, but only 15 to 20% of victims of homicide.
So what's your point
you
now?
said no. You said
didn't get enough. You didn't get enough last night.
See, you just said
you got cooked last night. With this dumbass point, you got cooked.
You can see you keep moving the goalposts right and you keep interrupting. No, I'm not.
You're flamed right now, bro. You're not making no sense.
Quit looking at the chat. Quit looking at the chat and letting these women tell you.
I'm not even reading the chat. You read the chat.
Sure.
You read the chat. I never read the chat. I talk
Listen.
to you guys.
Listen,
See?
either the rates
projecting.
matter or they don't. Either the rates matter or they don't.
What's the rate?
That's
What are
the
you
point.
talking about? What do
Okay,
you mean?
yesterday you said the rate of femicide did well. What I was saying was that women are significantly underrepresented as victims of homicide. That does not support the argument that there's an epidemic of femicide. You said that didn't matter because allegedly the rates were the same, which clearly is not the case. Now you're saying when it comes to single father households and single mother households, the rates matter, the overall numbers matter. These are two completely different,
That's not what I'm
contradictory
saying.
ideas.
You're not even making sense. I don't sound as stupid as you think I do. What you just said doesn't make sense. I never said anything to the
How does it not make sense?
So I'll lay it out for you. What I said was that that custodial parentship, that men make up 15% of custodial parents, right? And I was saying that within that 15%, the women, the mothers in that scenario, contribute more than the fathers do the opposite way. So when the mother
Where is the proof of this?
Oh my God, you can go look it up. You can go look it up.
No. Give me the source.
Go look it up yourself.
Give me the source. Telling people to look it up.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. I was talking. You was just crying about me interrupting you. Now you interrupted me.
And you still keep interrupting me. So,
okay. So what I said was that the women in the mothers in the mothers in this scenario, when they're tasked with being the custodial parent, the fathers they abandon the kids at a higher rate than women abandon their children when the man is the custodial parent. So I was saying, look up the percentage of women that abandon their kids. Look that shit up. It ain't 15%. That's what I'm saying. The number is low. The number is significantly lower for women. So those men who are the custodial parents, right, just means they got custodial parentship, 51% custody and up. That would constitute a custodial parent. It doesn't mean the women aren't there. It doesn't mean the women aren't involved. It doesn't mean the women aren't providing financially. Whatever the case may be, women are still showing up more in those scenarios than men are in the other way. That's what I was saying.
So does this include adoption? Because adoption is women abandoning their children.
Anyways,
does it include adoption? Yes or no?
Lamont
Yes or no?
Johnson, what's up, brother? Are you there?
See, now you don't want to
I don't
answer
give
the
a fuck
question.
about that. I'm not doing the pivot.
Adoption is abandoning.
Yeah, I don't care. This dude is
For adoption is abandoning
go
your
ahead,
child. So where are you considering
go ahead, BPG. Go ahead, BPG.
Bro, why are you
man. We got you, brother.
Why are you avoiding the question?
It's
Why
a
are
dumb
you
question.
avoiding the question?
I don't.
No,
wanna-
it's not. No,
It
it's
is.
not. Adoption can be considered abandonment.
Okay. Go ahead,
Are
BPG.
you considering a
Go ahead, BPG.
There is no way on God's green earth and
Answer the
Beyonce's
question.
green internet that this man has never been charged with something.
answer the? I've never.
There's no, it's not, it's not possible. And even if he hasn't, I promise you, the crime has been committed, the act has been done, because the ability to not be able to just literally be quiet just for a second, like even when you're listening to somebody that you disagree with,
You're accusing me of being
even when you talk to somebody you disagree
out of
with,
here.
being able to just be quiet and listen to the point being completed, because you don't know that you disagree
The fuck?
until you get to the end of the point. Like there's no way for you to know that, because you can listen to, and this also proves like a lot of people be lying about what they're actually reading. Like when it comes to these statistics, I always find it like a little bit laughable when they come up, because nobody ever mentions like an abstract or what the purpose of the study was. Like a study is never a study that's well thought out and well planned isn't just going to produce like an idea that's meant to incite something in your mind. Like that would be very leading. And that would be propaganda. Like if it's just, oh, well, single fathers do better. Hey, I'll leave the rest to your imagination. No, What was the purpose of the study? What were they trying to figure out? What issue were they trying to solve? What systemic problem were they trying to get to the bottom of? And like I said, when you have conversations with people like this, like that can't hear out the entire point to the end, it for sure is indicative of another broader issue. I'm glad that he mentioned that he was raised by a single father and that he experienced abandonment from his mother. It makes absolute sense.
It does. You know what's crazy? Because it seems like I was saying yesterday, it doesn't matter either way. Men are going to find a way to blame the woman. If the woman abandons him, then he's going to hate women. If the man abandons him, he's going to hate the woman for pushing the man. He's going to all his aggressions. That's what I'm saying. He's proof, and I'm proof that it doesn't matter. That it doesn't matter what women do, they're going to get the blame. And he initially started off this stuff by saying that women get the they get the accolades, or they get the let's say the accolades or whatever for they get the respect for raising the kids. But he is literally proving that people don't respect what women do
At all.
While I'm telling him the credit, while I'm like, women, like, they just blame women for everything, he instantly pivoted to, well, that's because of the outcomes. That's what I was saying. You gonna try to blame women no matter what, as if they're raising, because as if they had these kids on their own without a fucking father. So the father not being there, that's not the problem. It's the mom. It's the mom raising the child. Like, that don't make sense. Why? How are you not?
I'm not saying men aren't part of the problem. I'm not saying men aren't part of the problem. I'm saying women are equally a part of the problem.
They're not.
And y'all want to get okay. Let me give you an example then. Right, we're all black. In the black community, black children suffer rates of abuse at twice the rate of white and Latino children and 8 times the rate of Asian children. 60% of all abuse to children is committed by women. Right. So where are we holding women accountable? Black boys suffer the highest. Hold on. Black boys suffer the highest rates of infanticide of any demographic. 99% of infanticides are committed by women. Where are we holding women accountable? That is my point.
Okay.
Black women are more likely to be in prison for harming their children.
That's an excuse.
Black women, that's not an excuse. You said where are we holding them accountable? Black women are more likely to be imprisoned for harming their children, even if it wasn't blatant neglect.
Because they abuse.
Hold up, Yappington. Hold up.
Abuse their children.
Hold up, Yappington. You already you just asked her how they were not. You were asking how are they being held accountable. She started to give you actual stats on how black women specifically are being held accountable. And you instantly, without, like she just said, you wouldn't even listen to what she was saying. Because if you would have listened, then how do you disagree with what she's saying? Because it's the truth. Instead, you reflexively disagree with her in real time, proving her point. What the fuck is wrong with you? Listen to what she's saying,
Where are we holding them accountable in this conversation?
Listen to what she's saying, okay? Because we're talking about society. When you said we don't, you mean society. She just gave you proof that society.
I'm talking about this conversation.
No, that doesn't make sense. What are you talking about? This conversation?
Literally does, because you keep saying that You keep saying that we keep blaming women, and I pointed out how women are objectively responsible for.
We blame. No,
women. I'm talking. We're having a conversation. We're talking about here right now.
No, you're doing that now. I never said that. Nobody thinks that but you.
That's a weird take to think that we would be personally holding women accountable.
That's the dumbest take of the day.
Right. You think it's ridiculous to hold women accountable for their wrong.
No,
personally,
that's
yes.
the point.
On a personal level, yes. That's weird. Yes.
It's weird to hold women accountable for their actions.
Level,
that's weird.
It's weird.
Oh, personal level, yeah, definitely weird.
You cannot punish other people for their decisions.
If that's the case, then what are we even talking about? Because you're holding all men accountable for what some men do.
When?
So by that same line,
who did that?
Bro, this entire conversation.
Cite a quote. One that said that.
Oh my God.
Don't
y'all gaslighting.
Hey,
y'all gaslighting.
Hold on, wait. That's his tail. Like if we were playing poker, that's his tail. When you stick him, when he doesn't have anything to say, he says, "Oh my God." That's his tail. I got it now. I picked up on it because he's done it like 3 times. When you actually say that, like when you push back against what he's saying and you don't have a rebuttal, he says, "Oh my God." Now go finish.
He's omniscient. He's been here the whole time. You don't have to call him. He's in the space. He's in the room. He's right there.
Go ahead. Tell us.
How have we cited a way that we have said that it is all men's fault?
I didn't say you said it was
You
all
just
men's
said
fault.
that.
I said
You
you,
did.
no.
just
I
said
said
that.
you keep blaming men for what women do.
Nope. Now he's lying.
Yes,
Because that's not what he
oh
said.
my God, you have recordings of this whole thing. You can run it back.
He did just say that. He just said that.
He just said all men. He said, you're saying all men. And then me and BPG, I'm sure Mr. Joe, we all perked up like nobody's saying that. And now you're pivoting and saying you're changing your story, bro. So stop. It's not true.
No. That's not what's being said. Y'all are completely confusing the entire conversation. Y'all keep moving the goalposts. We can't stay on one topic
mean like
for
when you
more than
mentioned,
10 seconds. Oh my God.
It's like when you mentioned what do you mention? Adoptions? That wasn't moving the goalpost. That was moving the goalpost.
It was not moving the goalposts. We were talking about abandonment. Adoption is a form of abandonment, and
No, it's
you
not.
ignored the question. It is.
No, it's
It is.
not.
Giving your child
No, it's
up.
not. No,
Giving
it's
your
not.
child up is a form of
No, it's
abandonment. How is it not?
No, it's not. Because like we don't know what the circumstances were for which each person decided to go through adoption. Like some children are put into the adoption system because the parent died. Some are put into the adoption system because the person got in an accident and is not physically able or physically well enough to take care of their child. Some are not mentally well enough to take care of their child. So, I mean, there's a vast array.
Funny how you
of
ignoring
reasons
abuse.
Why children.
Funny how you're ignoring
Who said I was
abuse.
ignoring abuse?
Abuse is probably the biggest reason why kids are put into foster care. They're taken
You're
out of the
saying,
home.
wait, so you're saying
Like,
that you're saying that adoption
Well, then
can
that's also
be-
not abandoning. They were taken from them.
Yeah, but to his point, instead he should reword what he's saying. He should say that adoption can be a form of abandonment, which I guess could be true. Yeah,
Can be.
It can be, but
Right,
is
right. Okay, that's
adoption
fair.
But it's not
abandonment?
always
No,
is.
it's not abandonment.
Okay, but it can be abandonment, and oftentimes it is.
No, that's not the same thing.
No,
You
not
was almost there.
Okay,
It was almost
okay.
there.
Yeah.
Are
He
there
just tried to
cases?
throw in some more
Are there?
shit.
Hold on. Are there cases
We're almost done with the meal.
adoption that can be considered abandonment? Yes or no?
Say it again?
There's some. We already acknowledged that.
Are
we already
there
acknowledged
cases
Okay,
of
so
some.
people? I mean,
so how are we considering this in quantifying how many women abandon their children?
I think
Where
the
is it being
exhausting
considered?
part is that the ability for a thing to be possible and that thing being probable or that thing being the majority of what's happening is the part that I think that you keep kind of losing it on. Because is it
See,
possible
now
that
you
there are some
contradicting
parents?
yourself.
Okay.
What?
Is it possible that there are some parents who have sold their children to the circus? Yes.
Yeah,
Does that mean that
Is it
all
probable?
parents have sold their
No.
children to the
No.
circus? No.
probably no, but
Okay,
possible.
by
absolutely.
It
by
can
that same-
happen. It
by that
has
same logic.
happened. Does it happen? Like that's the part that's very, very weird because when you don't look at what socioeconomic factors are happening just consistently across the board, when you don't go down the list, the line log of what's happening for children to not be with their parents, you miss out on so many factors of why. There are states where if you don't have water in your home, they can take your children. If your water is off, they can take your children. If your kids are missing too many days of school, they can take your child. Like this is all of it is very, very subjective. And to make the statement that the reason why children are in the adoption system, are in foster care and the adoption system is because of the fact that they're being abandoned by their parents. It's circular reasoning. You're making A the reason for B, which is the reason for A, which is like it keeps going around in a circle like that.
Well,
Let me read.
BPG is bigger than that because like earlier.
Hold on, Jones. I got you. Let me read
Yeah,
this.
okay, go ahead. Yeah.
You've been here for a minute. Like I said, nowadays men want a pity party and they want to villainize women so that they feel better. That's exactly what's happening right now. It's so weird. These young men are exhausting, and I don't talk while I'm reading super chats. That's the quick. Don't do that. These young men are exhausting, and I use the word men so loosely. Damn. Mind Your Business says, so he's proving an outcome of single fathers now. No regulation. Oh man. When we talk about women, let's consider age. Most of the bad decisions, quote unquote, take place with very young, quote unquote, women. Exactly. Hold on, I think did I do them all? Yeah, I did them all. Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to address one thing. No, bro, he said no, bro, not you.
Jones is next.
Jesus Christ.
Man,
So,
don't yell at me, motherfucker. He can say what he need to say.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yo, who are you talking? Like, yo,
okay.
tough
I'm
guys on the
talking to
internet
you,
are so
fool.
cute.
I'm talking to you.
Okay,
Tough
man.
guys on the
All right.
internet are so cute.
The internet stuff.
You the one acting tough, talking
All right,
crazy.
all right, man.
Be quiet.
All right, we hear you, bro. We got you. Go ahead, Jones.
Anyways, like I was saying, right, is that when you're talking about abuse of children by single mothers, there's socioeconomic factors that play into that. And abuse in any relationship, even when it's, a marital couple, or just a domestic partnership, when you see them suffering economically, more often than not, you'll see, abuse happening within that household. And then that just plays back to the original issue here, right? Is that if these single moms had another parent to rely on for care and for expenses, the likelihood of these abusive situations would be far less likely.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think that's you can apply that with perfect utility. I think the point I'm trying to make here is that we're not applying that to men to the same degree we're applying it to women. And that makes it seem like an excuse. Like if I were to say, oh, well, men abuse women because they're poor and were abused as children and they develop maladaptive behavior and this and that, y'all would never accept this as an explanation. You would reject it. You would say at the end of the day, they're responsible for their actions regardless of what happened to them.
But it
we're
could
not
be,
but we're
two things
hold,
could
do
be
not
true at the
interrupt
same
me.
time.
Stop it.
Two things can be true at the same time.
Stop it. Right.
Two things can be true at the same time.
Oh my God. Yes, you're right. That's my point.
Okay.
We're not applying the same principles to men the same way we're applying them to women, which makes it come off as excuses. That's the point. We would never accept these things. Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me.
Why do you cry so much?
Stop interrupting me. Jesus Christ. The point is, see, this is what I'm talking about.
Because the name is Yapping.
The point is, if we wouldn't accept these explanations when we're describing men's behavior, there is no reason to accept them when we're describing women's behavior.
You know what's crazy?
And if
hold on, man. All right, you almost landed your plane. Land your plane.
Go ahead.
I just want to say something that's crazy to me. If I don't know if you guys heard this. I don't know if Pigeon Man is black, but we all black up here for the most part, right? But I don't know if you guys have heard this. This is just an example, anecdotal, just to paint the picture. Have you guys ever heard a black person say, I don't give white T men or white T people money, like when they're like unhoused? You guys ever heard that before?
Yeah, I've heard that.
I haven't.
You never heard that before, Yappington?
I definitely
No, I give money to homeless people all the time.
I know.
And
I didn't
some
say
of them white, some of
have
them.
you heard it? I didn't say do you do it. I said have you
No,
heard
I
it?
haven't.
I've heard
I
it.
personally haven't heard it.
Yeah, I've heard it many a time. I've seen people make posts about it saying they don't do it, right? Okay, cool. The reason why that is, though, when they say it is, they go, why would I give this white T person money when they had more advantages than me and I got a job and I got my shit together and they don't, right? Because in our society, just generally speaking, you would think there's really no reason for a white T person to be. I'm saying if you're like a black person that has their stuff together, relatively speaking, and you see a white T person, you don't know their background or nothing like that, but you're like, especially if you like me, like I came from the hood, I came from a single parent household, I came from drugs and but I'm here, so why? What the fuck? That's how a lot of people look at it, right? Now you can now based on your logic, what you're saying is that that if those white T people were to come out and be like, hey, well, the reason why this happened to me, right, is because my mom was on this, my dad was on that, yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm saying? You would say what? What would be your response if they were to tell us like why, give us a backstory as to why? What would be your response?
I would be like, oh, okay, that's your experience. Like you want me to accept this premise and I don't. I don't think it's fair to just put this on everybody like that. That's just unfair. Like we
to put it
sit
on
here
every
and say,
white T person, you're saying?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying though the idea, it's not an excuse. You're trying to make it seem like we like everything is a one-to-one. The world isn't like that. So you're talking about You're saying that whatever we say about women, whatever excuses we make for women, we should also make the same excuses for men, or neither. But that's not how the world works, because women are at an inherent disadvantage. So we have to recognize that the same way we recognize that as Black people. We recognize that we are at an inherent disadvantage. So imagine a white person or a non-Black person coming to us and being like, hey, why don't you do X, Y, and Z? Why don't you have it? Why don't you people do da 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 da, and not acknowledge the historical context, right? To not acknowledge the historical oppression that we have faced. Well, that doesn't make sense. That's disrespectful. You're negating our history. Like, oh yeah, this is what we've been through. This is what we're going through. You got the same 24 hours in a day that I do. Like that type of dumbass hustle culture bullshit. That's stupid, right? And that's what you're doing now. You're like, oh yeah, it's unfair because you guys make these excuses for women, but you don't make these excuses for men. Because we shouldn't. Why would you, as a group? Why would you? Why? How much sense does that make when the average woman makes less than the average man? Just off the rip, the average woman makes less money than the average man, right? So he has an advantage over her the majority of the time. So we got to speak about the group, not the individuals, right? We're not talking about individually. As a whole, men make more money on average. They make more money than women. So when we talk about excuses, that's a pretty fucking big excuse for women. When you talk about the outcomes of children, that men make more money than women, what the fuck are we talking about? You want me to turn around? Go ahead. I'll listen. Go ahead.
And this goes back to the conversation I was trying to have with you yesterday about intersectionality and how I believe a lot of people are applying it incredibly reductively. You're saying that the average woman or the average man makes more than the average woman, but when you break it down, there are important delineations in groups of men and groups of women. When you break it down, the average white man makes $58,000 a year. The average white woman makes $48,000 a year. The average Black man makes $43,000 a year. The average Black woman makes $40,000 a year. So if you want to say, okay, Black men make more than Black women, yes, by $3,000, but this is a significantly smaller disparity than the difference between white men and white women. It's also not including that white women make more than Black men. It's also not including that white people make up the majority of the country. So this analysis is incredibly reductive. And
are we
that was
talking
the point
about
I was
Black
trying to
men?
make
Or are we
yesterday.
talking about men?
I'm Black man. I'm not about to be held responsible for what white men did. So
you should be, because you're a man, and you
why should I be held responsible for what white dudes do?
Patriarchy, Yappington. Black men
did not invent the patriarchy.
It
What are you
did.
talking
It didn't
about?
start in America. It didn't start in Portugal.
Pre-colonial Africa is generally described as Hold on. Pre-colonial Africa is generally described as egalitarian. Hell, you even run across a lot of Black women who will say it was matriarchal. So this doesn't even make any sense at all.
What history are you reading? Go ahead, BPG.
That too.
That isn't true.
Oh,
That isn't true.
yeah. So
Me and Jones.
So
are still
80% of the
saying
continent of
okay.
Africa. Oh yeah. Yeah,
Go ahead.
80% of the continent of Africa.
I said pre-colonial Africa. Be clear.
Let him speak,
I'm about
Yappington.
to answer your question, bro. 80% of the continent of Africa was matrilineal. Many areas were matriarchal, but the vast majority is matrilineal. There was very egalitarian cultures. However, if we were looking at Northern Africa and the origination of Abrahamic religions, right, then that's where we see the dawn of these patriarchal beliefs. And I mean, they would have essentially been, Black for the most part.
Yeah.
We're Black people. North Africans are not Black people. They're North Africans.
That's wild.
What are y'all about to tell me? Oh, the ancient Moroccans and Libyans were Black. Are y'all about to tell me that?
Yeah, they were.
I don't believe that. There's no evidence of that. I'm not about to claim other people's cultures. We have sub-Saharan Africa, and they did a lot of great things. There's a lot to be proud of there, so we can recognize that. I'm not about to claim North
Can I ask
Africa.
you a question though? So, who was the wealthiest person in all of in all the history of man? So they say.
Allegedly, Mansa Musa.
Mansa Musa. It was a man, right? And he's African, right? How do you think that came to be the case?
What do you mean?
Why? Just humor me. Why do you think it is that the wealthiest person in all of Africa was a man, if Africa was indeed not a patriarchy. If you're, I mean, because Africa isn't one, you know, what I mean, it's the most diverse continent on the planet. But I'm just saying, if you want to say Africa, right? The wealthiest person in the history of mankind allegedly came from Africa, and that person just so happened to be a man. How did that be the case? And that was pre-colonialism. So how do you think
and this is my point. This is an incredibly reductive understanding of the history of Africa. Mansa Musa came after the Islamization of West Africa, which brought the patriarchy to Africa. So we can look at it.
So what colonialism are we talking about here?
There's two. There's the Western colonialism that we typically refer to when we're talking about like the transatlantic slave trade. But then there's also the trans-Saharan slave trade, which was arguably bigger and started about 700 years
and
prior
those
to
people
that.
came from Africa.
They came from North Africa.
They
weren't black. They weren't black people. They weren't black. They weren't black.
So lose my shit on this guy. He is
Egyptians are black. Egyptians are black. Egyptians are black. Saudis are black. Moroccans are black. Libyans are black. All these people are black. That's what you're telling me?
How is North Africa not Africa?
He don't even understand why what he's saying is so dumb, because race didn't even exist at the time he's speaking of. They were just fucking
Oh
African.
my God. You're completely hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Black people didn't exist at the time you're talking about, Gappington, because black wasn't a fucking thing. You see what I'm saying? You see how stupid that is? The waters.
Black people didn't exist. They weren't, black wasn't a thing. The fuck are you talking about? Black didn't exist. Black didn't exist. Black did not exist. These were Africans. I don't care the shade of their, who fucking cares? They were Africans on the continent which you brought up. Since you want to yap and you want to bring up Africa, which ain't a fucking one state, it's a big ass continent.
Y'all brought up Africa.
The continent of Africa.
The continent of Africa was patriarchal.
The people on the continent of Africa were definitely African. That's what we all know and we all can agree on, right? Mansa Musa came from Africa. Mansa Musa was a black melanated man like us, and he allegedly was the wealthiest man in all of niggerdom. And I was wondering, how do you think that came to be if it wasn't a patriarchy? And all the wealthiest people in Africa, I bet you, 99% of them were men. Before colonialism. The wealthiest people on the continent of Africa were men the vast majority of the time, pre-colonialism. Do you not understand that would almost and undoubtedly point to that it was a fucking patriarchy? You think that's by accident? You think men are just inherently better or naturally better than women? And we just know how to get to the back? What the fuck? How much sense what are you talking about?
This is the problem. What I was saying, you're being incredibly reductive about history.
Hold on. Go ahead, Pigeon Man. I can't.
Hold on. I won't be long.
Because you're ignoring.
Waiting, bro. I won't be long. I promise. I'm about to go leave. My only thing I want to say is the original point of this topic was, are men really the provider? Mm-hmm. It went from that to now that North Africans weren't black. He just doesn't have an answer there.
Why are you laughing at yourself? You're the one claiming North Africans are black.
I'm just seeing, 15 on his head, 20 on his head.
Seeing you too, everyone who's watching, just stay on the point. Your original thing that got me up here is that you said that adoption counts as abandonment, and they cooked you and they said that it's only situational. And even then, most parents in the future, if it's a different environment, have interaction with the children after. Abandonment is no interaction with the parent at all. But still, that's just it. I'll say that this whole thing, public, you have more patience than me. That's all I want to say.
I'm losing it, Pigeon Man. I'm losing it today. This dude is
Bro, I don't care about your fucking patience.
He is incredibly obtuse. Go ahead, Pigeon Man.
PPG, Jones, I'm big fans. I followed you both. I hope you guys have a good day. I originally joined because I watched your lives. And my little cousin just took my phone and asked her to request, because even she got mad. Apparently, I don't even know. I don't know. I'm about to take my sister and my cousin out now. So I hope you all.
I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, Pigeon Man. Hey, they Yappington, they paid to drop you. I didn't drop you. I mean, I did the service, but you know, they paid for it.
Wilmington is a case study. Whew.
The anti-intellectualism. Look, man, BPG, prove me wrong that you shouldn't. That when y'all, this is what I be telling y'all. Stop telling men to read. Stop telling men to go to therapy as a blanket cure. It's not.
No.
It's not. Because I know dudes that read more books than me, but what books are they reading? They reading fucking how to dominate black women and shit.
48 laws of power. I literally saw a man outside the grocery store maybe a couple of weeks ago. Me and my sister looked and I was like, oh, he's outside reading a book. Like, oh, that's so nice. And I got past him a little bit and I saw what the book was and I was like, oh crap. Like, oh God, okay, here we go. What was the book? It was 48 Laws of Power. 48 Laws of Power. Yeah, like, and a lot of dudes, they read these books. Like, even if, when you were talking about the council culture episode yesterday, he referenced the book that we talked about when we were talking to C. Dave about how he was abusive.
Yeah. Why
does he do that? He was reading, what's the name? Godfrey. He was reading that book.
He said he read it.
He said he read it.
But he also said he threw it.
Yeah.
So it made me think he didn't actually read it. But go ahead.
He probably did actually read it. But like a lot of times when men read this material, they if they see too much of themselves in it, they don't want to finish it, or it makes them angrier because it doesn't feed into the ideas that they want to hear. So they would prefer to read books like, 48 Laws of Power. Somebody mentioned Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Donald Trump got a whole bunch of books. You can read Mein Kampf. You know what I mean? There are plenty of books you can read that are really horrible books, like how Dr. Julio always mentions the Moynihan Report. If you ever actually read the Moynihan Report,
I read it before. Yeah.
It is like straight up racist propaganda.
It's pure racism.
Like flat out
unmitigated racism. Like if somebody wrote that report right now, I think black people would actually revolt. Like how our minds are wired right now, I think we would actually be like, this is somebody in the government. Like we would trip out. We would be like, what? This is crazy.
Because there are plenty of things that you can read that is harmful material, but also you have to be able to know like what it is. You have to know what you're reading. You have to know the purpose behind. Like you got to study. A lot of people read books and they don't look at the authors of the books. They'll look at statistics, but they don't look at who's conducting the study or, who was paying for the study. A lot of times that contributes a lot to the material that you're reading, because I've heard a whole lot of people, and people get mad at this, but there are so many people that still reference the Willie Lynch letter. Like there are people who still genuinely believe that the Willie Lynch letter is a real thing, and they can't tell you like where it originated from outside of like 1993 when it popped up. Like that's when it came on the scene. It literally popped up on the internet somewhere, and there are so many other pieces of material that is more accurate to the time and more accurate to what the issue was that a lot of black people were going through. And you, like I said, you can read anything. I was reading this thing the other day, The Myth of Actuary by this guy, Frederick L. Hoffman. And he was trying to prove that the race traits and tendencies of black people was geared towards abandoning their kids, spending too much, that we were gluttonous, that we didn't take care of our body. And like, it's a
every racist trope about black people just in a book. Like
literally. They will provide stats for bad ideas.
You know what else is a racist document? What is the one thing that what's his name from something the Hebrew, what was his name, Kyrie Irving, remember that documentary that he got in trouble for? Documentary he got in trouble for sharing. I watched it. I didn't watch it, I listened to it.
I remember seeing the
I got it in my thing. Hold on, I'll tell you what it is. Hold on, I read it. This is my little book,
because it was on Amazon, right?
It was on Amazon, and I bought it and I read it, and the whole first the first whatever I want to say few chapters was literally just him. Well, he was talking. Oh, man, that book is so insidious. Like I can't even.
Hebrews to Negroes.
Hebrews to Negroes.
Wake Up Black America. Yeah.
Hebrews to Negroes is one of the most anti-black pieces of work on the market, and that man had black men reading that shit. Like forget the forget the anti-Semite shit that was in there, because it was in there, but it was just a small part of it. It was way more anti-black.
Mm-hmm.
It was very anti-black. And the black men that were talking like, oh, you suspended him for being anti-Semite. You're right. You know what? You're right. They shouldn't have suspended him for sharing that book, because it had a few references to a few anti-Semitic references. I don't think they should have. They definitely should have suspended him for putting that book up there that was extremely anti-black. Because if a white person would have told us to read that book and y'all read the first 3 chapters, you'd have been like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is right. The book was straight up rape. Like if it wasn't written by, which I never seen a guy who wrote it. He is black, they say. I never saw his face, right? There's a lot of people who write under pseudonyms. I don't know. But if you didn't see the person and you just read the book, you would think that it was written by the most racist white tea person on the planet. It sounds like David Duke wrote the book. And I'm sitting there reading it, and I'm like, this is what y'all are defending Kyrie? Are you guys fucking serious? Like, this is crazy, bro. Black men specifically, but men in general, like you said, they will consume stuff that makes us feel warm, that doesn't challenge our worldview. That's what we do. So I'm not out here on some like, y'all need to read. Let's talk about what we read in here. Before we say men need to read, because y'all up here reading Machiavelli. Y'all reading Sun Tzu. Y'all reading 48 Laws of Power. You reading Iceberg Slim Book. You reading Pimp. You reading, you know what I'm saying? Like, I read now don't get me wrong. I like Donald Goines books, right? But I didn't read, they didn't distort my thinking in that way. I just read the books because I always just liked the stories. They were like fables.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't take it seriously. Like, this is how I supposed to treat women. I just read them as stories. Right? He was talking about pimping. He was up north and he got into it with this other pimp and they got into a fight. And I was like, oh, this is like, I was enthralled. It's a great book if you read it from that aspect. But a lot of y'all minds is weak and y'all read that shit and was like, this is how you manipulate women. And now it's a problem. And in Pimp, the first thing he talks about is how abusive his mama was.
Yeah.
The whole first like future, it just basically just him talking about how abusive his mama was. Like, what? That's great. Where was your daddy at? Just, oh yeah, my dad wasn't there. Anyways, back to this broad.
Yeah. And a lot of that is a lack of, you said that a lot of people are reading. When people hear that kids are reading at a 6th grade level, they think of just words. They don't think of comprehension. They don't think of phonetics. They don't think of how are these kids processing the information that they are taking in? How are they able to read a text, be able to write about that text properly? Are they able to cite information? Do they find proper sources? Like, all of that contributes to what that reading level looks like, because it's not just them looking at a word, being able to read it and spell it. And a lot of these dudes, that's really literally what they're doing. Because if you listen to Yappington long enough, he sounds like a man who may know what he's talking about. Like, some of the words that he uses, this is reductive, look at how societies was built, in the 15th century and all. Like, when you listen to him on the surface, it's like, he seems like he can kind of say some things, but to me, it's very much that Jordan Peterson. What's the other guy with the dark hair that talk real fast? He talked like Candace.
The dude, the Jewish guy.
Yes, what's his
Ben
name?
Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro. It's that class.
Also,
it's that class of teaching.
Also, Candace Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very articulate. Very articulate. Like,
but what's being said.
But what's coming out is crazy. Like, very articulate. I'm not like Tommy Larry.
Yes, literally.
There's tons of articulate people that say wild shit. There's tons of them. They're on TV every day. They're very articulate. But what the fuck are they saying? Like, it's wild. They think those people are like, that's not how. No, they know how to. They know how to read. They know how to comprehend.
And they know how to properly articulate themselves. The best thing my daddy ever said to me was, we was listening to Jill Scott, and my daddy was an interesting guy. I'm always gonna mention that part. But he was sitting at the table, rolling his little thing up, and he was listening to Jill Scott's album, and You Love Me was on. And she was saying, like, that part where she just repeats, you incite me to chorus. And my daddy was listening to it, and he was smoking, and he was like, oh wow, that's a beautiful way to say you make a nigga want to sing. And I was like, and I really sat there and I'm like, this man's high as a kite, but also,
Mm-hmm.
That
That is.
that is what she's saying. Like that's
Mhm.
and I think that people use that sort of like, I'm going to articulate my words in a way where it's more palatable for you, but really what I'm saying is I'm Nicki Minaj saying I shitted on them. However, I'm going to say what Lauryn Hill said, and I'm going to say I defecated on the microphone, because
Yeah.
I defecated on the microphone sounds like something that's not sinister. It's not harmful. It sounds like something very like, oh, wow, what did she do to the microphone? I want to hear more. But really, she's saying the same exact thing that Nicki Minaj said. She's just saying it in a more articulate way.
Yep. That's why when I say vagina, I think it's hilarious. 'Cause I'm just
We
saying.
all think it's hilarious.
We just saying the same shit. We just saying it in a funny way. What up, Six Figures?
Hey, Parker. Hey, y'all. Hey, BPG. What's going on? What's up,
Chill.
chat? I just wanted to come up earlier when they were trying to downplay mothers and wives and significant others. And I'm not married. I don't have kids.